So I was messing around looking at some of my old videos, and I ended up noticing in the recommended when I was looking at a Ring of Elysium video that Ring of Elysium is now on Steam. So this is pretty crazy in my opinion, because I never expected it to get a following big enough to go on Steam or have North American servers, but now it does. So I want to review this and see how much it's changed since the original version that I played 5 months ago till now. So let's get into it. So right off the bat, went into the game, instantly the character creation and editing is so much better than it was before, about 5 months ago when I played the game first. And it feels kind of like Fallout 4, like the level of what you could do. Not as much obviously, but like it has that similar idea where you can edit like every different shape and do all this different crazy stuff. And it's just a battle royale game, right? Like it's nothing crazy. So I think it's really cool, but like, is it fitting for it? Yeah, I guess. But you're not really looking at your character that much, so I mean, hey, just have fun with it. You can make anime chicks if you want, I guess, but yeah, so right off the bat, the character creation is really fucking nice. Went into the map and just looking at like where you get to choose your spawn point. This is the craziest, most different thing I've noticed throughout the entire game so far. You get to pick your spawn point, and you also get to choose one of 3 classes, like an ice climber, a snowboarder, or the glider, which is like the glider is the original from the game. And this is just crazy to me because you get these different abilities. Like a snowboarder can snowboard down any mountain. The ice climber can climb up certain mountains, and then the glider can jump off high places and fucking glide, which is really cool. It's something unique to the battle royale genre that we haven't really seen, and the fact that Ring of Elysium did this when they're based off of the PUBG engine is insane to me. It's something I would not expect, but it's so fun and unique, and just it really adds diversity to the game that right now I'm really enjoying. So right off the bat, that is very cool, and I really enjoy it so far. So right off the bat, you notice a difference from how the original game was 5 months ago. You zoom into your character, and you don't start on the glider or anything like that. And this is really interesting because not a lot of battle royale games do this. Mostly everyone you get dropped from something, but apparently they wanted to change it up, even though they still have the glider in game. And it's very interesting to me because they're trying to do this new approach because they're so much like PUBG, and I think that was one of the biggest issues with the game, is it was compared to PUBG a lot. And now they're trying to diversify themselves. And also off the bat, the graphics have gotten a lot better, but you can't really set them to high, which is very strange in my opinion, except the anti-aliasing, which can give any good computer a run for its money. The anti-aliasing seems really shitly optimized. There even is a warning about it, and it really doesn't change much, so I just leave anti-aliasing on normal unless you have like a fucking 1080 and a really high overclocked processor, just a really nice processor. But I mean, for the most part, I'd say just leave it on normal until they optimize it a bit better or give textures a high quality. But you'll notice throughout the gameplay that some of the textures are just really shit, and like I'm assuming that's why the textures don't have a high setting, because there's a lot that seems unfinished so far. And the game just came out in Steam Early Access like 4 days ago, and it's a whole new map, so that really doesn't surprise me. But besides that, everything seems really cool. The first person being added in is so nice, because that's one of my biggest things I wanted when the game first came out, because you could only see your ADS in first person, which kind of pissed me off. But now that we actually have first person, and it looks pretty good, it kind of has some shitty quality for some of the gun textures, but for the most part, the first person looks nice, feels nice, and is just overall a good fit for the game, and I'm very happy that they put that in. So the inventory is a little bit different than how it used to be. It's changed a bit, but one of the things I've had a problem with for Ring of Elysium is that I feel like the inventory is kind of cluttered, and it definitely shows now. The inventory is kind of weird to get used to, and I just don't like the setup. Like, obviously they can't copy PUBG, even though they're the makers of PUBG Mobile, but they really can't, so they have to kind of make it their own thing. But like, it is just a little cluttered. The way the map works is also kind of different, because the zones, instead of going in a circle, they break off because they have these different squares you can spawn in, like I showed off earlier. And so those enclose and make weird like diagonal sections that you have to go to. And I actually really, really like this, because they mentioned they wanted to be more like the original Battle Royale movie. And I kind of get what they're going with here, and it has, instead of being like a stupid fucking blue circle, it's a snowstorm, which is really cool, and I think a nice take on it, because every game just is gas, a blue circle or something like that, and this, honestly, is way better in my opinion for how they're doing it. They're making it seem realistic and feasible, whereas, every other game's like a fucking blue circle, toxic gas, fucking electricity. It doesn't make any sense, and this game actually does a good job at making that seem more realistic and just being its own thing. And that's what I like about the new Ring of Elysium, is they're really trying to make it their own new thing. And props on them for that, because the game itself had a good core, and now they're expanding on the core, and they're working out every other aspect of the game. And yes, some of the things right now so far are kind of shit. Like I said, the textures, it's not very well optimized, but so far with things like the snowstorm, the different kits, and the spawning system, it's very interesting how this is all coming together. But now we got to get into the gunplay and shit like that, because that is also very important, and like the driving. So let's get into it. So as you guys can see, I suck. I'm not the best. The controls are a little bit different than how they used to be. It doesn't feel as smooth. I think that just is me needing to change my mouse sensitivity, but the gunplay does. It feels the same for the most part. But yeah, it feels with first person. It feels a little bit more harder to use. However, third person, as you saw with me switching out to the MP5, it felt pretty decent. It didn't feel like there was much of an issue with that. First person, I think I need to change the sensitivity, but the gunplay is still pretty nice. And with the attachment system, as you guys know, I love it because you can switch sights easily, and you'll get to see that a bit in the game. And that's just kind of like one of the things I absolutely loved about the game that they've done really well. Is it doesn't make any sense. Like, you can just fucking teleport a goddamn optic onto your gun, but I do really like it. I think it's really nice. The driving is exactly what you expect. It's just, you know, like Battle Royale driving. There's really nothing too much to it besides, you know, like you have the off-road vehicles, you have snowmobiles, and, you know, it's just very basic. The cars are kind of hard to handle, but kind of easy at times. It really just depends on, like, what your vehicle's made for. So overall, I mean, honestly, the cars are pretty easy to use, but I mean, at least they don't get blown up from falling. I mean, they get blown up when you get shot, obviously. I mean, if you see my old video, you definitely know that. We blew some cars up. That was very fun, and that, of course, is still in. But fortunately, falling, you know, 50 feet with your car won't fucking kill you. It'll only take like 30 off your health, so you're pretty good with that. So as you can see here, this will be me testing out the rock climber ability and just going up to this. There are certain spots marked on the map by this little orange symbol you see, and those are the ones that you can go climb on. And it's slow. It kind of feels like Modern Warfare 2. I'm kidding. It actually kind of feels like the forest, which is funny, but it's fun. It's such a unique thing. I absolutely love it. And then the zip lines, of course, these are really fucking fun to use. And I absolutely love the idea. Just the whole map setting is so awesome. Like, cause like you don't really see snowy maps in these battle royale games. Like, you'll see deserts, you'll see jungles, and that's all about it. And so this is such a fun little take. It's like you're just playing PUBG on a fucking snow map with a bunch of cool little new things you can do. That's basically how I can describe it if you haven't played Ring of Elysium. So like, so far with everything, like, it's a bit wonky, it needs to be optimized, but all these new features that are unique to this game are so fucking fun to use, and it's just good. So far, it's just really good. Now, in case you didn't notice as well, I sped up the mountain climbing by about 1.3 times, so it's pretty slow. But as you're gonna see here, the ziplining is really cool. It looks wonky. I'm gonna be honest, it looks a little wonky, but like, I love the aspect. And then you can see on the map where all the zip lines are. It doesn't really tell you which one's the start, so I guess you kind of gotta guess that. But like, you can just guess by altitude, really, and like, it's cool. It makes me feel like I'm playing Rainbow for some reason. Like, I'm just ziplining into this map and I'm ready to go blast some foes or some shit. It's really fun so far. So I don't want to stretch this review out to more than it has to be. Overall, right now, I'd give Ring of Elysium a solid 8. I think the game has a good way to go with optimization and just a few other things, but honestly, the fact that they're making this so unique and just making this their own thing, I'm really happy about it. I was never expecting this game to get on Steam or have North American servers, so I'm very fucking happy. And I'm definitely going to be playing this a lot, just because I've been so dried out of Battle Royale games recently, and this is kind of like making me want to revisit them, because having this like unique feel with like the different aspects of this, like with the rock climbing, the snowboarding, the spawning with a glider, all this shit is so freaking nice. It is such an interesting way of playing a Battle Royale game, and I'm just really happy it's here on Steam and everybody can play it. And like, when I tried to play it back in the day, I got one of my friends to download it because it was such a bitch to download. And now I have all my friends can download it easily. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the review, and I'll leave you with my inevitable death. Thanks. Oh! What? No! Ah! Oh shit, okay, cool. Yeah, I love it.